quote dress rehearsal. So
Unfortunately,
you really didn't need the fourth game.
Yeah, because J.K. Dobbins tore his ACL.
But I do feel bad for those 40 people on the roster who would have got one more game of football in their lives and one more week of tape. I do feel bad for them.
I feel bad for everybody who got cut before Tim Tebow.
Good Lord. Did somebody just knock on the door?
Yes, they did. So I guess I'm going to go get it.
All right. I guess I'm going to stall. So with
J.K. Dobbins tore his ACL, the running back for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, and if your fantasy draft was 2 weeks ago, then you're probably exactly. My fantasy draft was actually last night, and I got a D+. So shout out to Yahoo Sports trying to catch my fade, because how the fuck you give me a D+? Like, you couldn't even just give me a D or a C. You had to throw in a plus just to make me feel almost average. Like, damn.
That's not average. That's 62%.
I know, but they threw in the plus just to make me feel like I was almost on par. Like, that was the most insulting part, was that they didn't even just give me a D. They gave me a D+. I would have been happier with a D-.
They gave you a D+ where you really got a 62%, but you're
I'm telling you, all I did today,
62 to a 65.
All I did today was watch that Zeke reel, where he's like, just patience. I literally just watched that on repeat. I love my haters, man. Rank me the bottom of the league. Let's see where I finish, because I've been at the top of the rankings before and gotten B's and finished last. So
have you ever
we'll see what happens.
League?
Not since I was like in second grade.
You played fantasy football in the second grade?
Dog, I told you. I just sent you a video of me doing sports talk casually as a fucking sophomore, bro. I've been doing this
sophomore year
for a minute. Yeah.
That's before you found a new black barbers existed?
Why are you hating on the flat top, bro?
Bro, I want a flat top. That shit looked like fucking putty, like clay putty, like Gumby.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't even the Gumby. Like, you tried to get the Gumby, but like you didn't realize you were supposed to fade out the sides. So you just got one big ass like part in the top of your head, which looked kind of cool because of how your head shaped.
Bro, my head was my big ass head and my shitty camera skills. You tapered
the back.
My head wasn't even in the frame, so you couldn't even get a real
good
of it.
You used a fucking Polaroid camera, like all the cameras that black families take at people's graduations, but they never get the fucking film developed. Hi, Mom.
Anyways, point is, week 1 is around the corner. We got like this weird, awkward bye week, so it's a good time to talk about what's coming up with this season. We got a cool guest calling in, talk about quarterbacks, friend of the show, Chrissy. And then Kenny's got a bunch of college football news because college football has officially started. Boise State and UCF
we back,
playing right now.
100-yard pick six.
A 2.5-hour rain delay in Orlando.
And it felt like a year and a half off of football. Like, it's just so many games got canceled. The SEC has like they've adopted the forfeit policy if you don't have enough people to dress.
That's crazy. The NBA is literally telling people who aren't vaccinated to not even come to games.
Aren't those the Nets and the Nets and the Knicks, they have to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccination or they can't play? Allegedly, that's what I heard. Allegedly.
Yeah, teams that play in California or New York, or teams that are visiting those teams, if you're not vaccinated, you can't get into the arena because they require vaccination to get in the arena. Every fan, every player has to be, every staff member has to be vaccinated. So it's pretty much the same thing for players. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think, as many people have said it throughout the week, it's essentially the NFL and NBA requiring vaccinations without requiring vaccinations. Because really, it just comes down to money. They can't afford to lose any more games.
Pretty much.
I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but like even the stuff that the NFL is doing with social justice.
Don't even start on that shit. I'm tired. Shout out to Kendrick. I'm tired. I missed all these overnight activists.
It just feels like they're really trying to do anything to make their fan base less white and less old.
And racist?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to say this. If you think
But then that's your core base, so you're gonna piss those people off again after they just stopped being pissed off about Kaepernick. So
white
like,
people are not the core
I don't really
base
know.
of the
I don't really
NFL.
know what the NFL is doing.
White people are not the core base of the NFL.
They are.
Without all the black players, it's literally just we're going back.
But
to
the audience
old days.
is conservative, male, white. Because guess what?
Well, they're catering the
Most
social
of those people
experience.
watch local fucking TV.
Okay, bro, you can watch football anywhere, right?
Adjacent,
Were you not watching
Adjacent.
football today at your brother's game?
Adjacent, yeah.
So you telling
Someone
me?
call it football.
So would you, adjacent? 8-man, it has more structure, but you're telling me that the audience for high school football is white males? Because think about it.
But high
school, college, pros, all those same people still watch all those.
No, but it's different because you're talking about watching it on TV, which TV is usually watched by people who don't work
or do work.
No, the demographics of people who watch TV are for cable is predominantly Black Americans. Yeah. Local broadcast is a lot of old white people. And that's just because, like, the middle of the country where there's fucking hard to get broadband, guess what they get? Over the air TV.
Okay, so who's the audience
and
for
even now,
football?
even now, like, it's hard to get on the air TV out here. So I don't even watch on air TV.
Twitter?
I guess they don't even have games on. They haven't even had games on Twitter anymore. I miss when they had games on Twitter.
Streaming.
It was live.
Well, they're bringing back the NFL on
Amazon Prime,
Nickelodeon. So.
Oh yeah. I still haven't watched that, but I'll check it out.
But I'm saying there's so many different ways to watch the sport that the audience is everyone who has streaming, who streams. We can go get to a game right now. We can go to a USC game, and I can get drunk, watch them play San Jose State, and guess what? Who's the target audience for college football games? Adults.
But the difference is there's a lot more college football. College football is a much more regional sport, just like baseball is a regional sport.
It's making money, billions of dollars hand over fist, and it's unregulated, and it's eating itself. Like, there's an ecosystem for football to exist, and the NFL pulls it all from college. It's not like the NBA where you can just not go to college.
But I'm talking about people who actually watch the sport is regionally distributed.
I understand what you're saying.
If you live
per state, I get it. I get what you're saying. But I'm saying it's less about who's watching and more about the access they have to watch.
But it's twofold. That's,
like if I'm in California,
hand in hand. That's hand in hand. That's what I'm telling you.
And I'm like in the boonies,
it comes down to the dollars. That's what it is.
And they make up for it.
The TV money
is stadium money.
The TV money is what pays the bills. The stadium money, that's revenue, but they're not making profit off of that. It's just
that pays
overhead. Exactly.
That cancels itself out.
Yeah, exactly.
That pays for itself.
The big money is coming from the TV partners and broadcasters.
The TV deals and streaming services, right?
Well, now you could say that, yeah, because Amazon Prime is the Thursday night.
And that's what I'm saying. With football, the demographics are going to change. Baby boomers are dying out. Some people say it's a good thing. Some say it's a bad thing.
And that's really what they're trying to do with this.
They're really just trying to keep the baby boomers. Can we just say that?
No, they're trying to go after the young people because they know those people are moving towards.
But baby boomers have the biggest last piece of generational wealth that they're holding on to and not passing down in some cases. Baby boomers have access to money we don't have access to. Old money. And they're the ones who will probably call in more likely and complain, like you said, about kneeling and about all the social justice stuff. But they're also going to the games and tailgating. They're gonna still buy, and they're still gonna buy tickets and beer and tailgate space and watch. They don't have a choice because what else are they going to do with their pathetic ass lives? Young people, we're just there for the experience. Can we just be honest? If you go to a Raiders game and you know they suck, or when you would go to Clippers games for all those years and you knew they sucked, you were there for the experience.
Actually, the Clippers haven't really sucked since I've been going to games. Just so you know, we've actually had one
when I was going to Clippers games at like 13 years old,
just wanted to
watching them
that
get clapped by the Grizzlies on my mom's birthday.
I just wanted to clear that up.
Well, I was actually going to Clippers games before you then, which is kind of crazy. But like when the Clippers were trash and tickets were like $20, like some WNBA tickets were more expensive than Clippers tickets, if we're being honest. Like people were going for the experience because, like you said, the stadium, it pays for itself. So that last bastion of people who are diehard NFL fans, they don't want to lose that demographic to whatever the hell else they're going to watch on TV. So that's why the streaming helps, because you bring in their kids, you market to their children, their grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and yeah, they'll be pissed about other stuff, but it works. Hello, caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Chrissy Floyd, Starkville, Mississippi.
Hi, Chrissy. Thanks for joining us tonight. For those of you who don't know, Chrissy is a friend of the show. She's been on before. She is the lead writer for the SI Bulldogs on Sports Illustrated and also a QB analysis for the Draft Network. Chrissy, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. So the last time we talked was kind of like the beginning of the pandemic, and it was right at like pretty around the draft. You know, you were finishing school, so
the greatness of LSU and Joe Burrow.
So how has the last basically year and some change been for you? What have you been up to? All that good stuff.
Yeah, it's been a pretty big year for me. I mean, I moved away from Louisiana, which is something I wasn't sure that I was going to do. Switched to covering a new main team. Have some expanded roles at the places I used to work. No longer with USA Today Sports Media Group. So right now I'm covering quarterbacks for the Draft Network. I'm covering Mississippi State for Sports Illustrated. I'm doing a little bit of stuff for NBC Sports as well. So it's been exciting. A lot of my stuff now is quarterback centric outside of Mississippi State. So I definitely continue to progress in that niche, and it's been really cool.
Yeah. And so did you graduate like in the pandemic?
Yeah, I did. And
that's crazy.
I mean, I feel like I lost out on a lot of my college experience in general. It kind of was
because you were grinding and then you were ready for it and then it was all taken away.
I put in a lot of work to transfer to LSU, and I spent way less time actually on the campus than I did sitting in my apartment room doing classes online. So, I mean, it didn't exactly go the way that I planned it to, and I'm pretty happy that it's over, to be honest.
All right. So with that, there's a big game between a team out here on our side of the country and a team that you used to cover. So I've been talking to people and Bruins fan because I'm a Bruin fan adjacent.
No, you're definitely a Bruins fan.
And they're getting UCLA is really excited for this game for whatever reason.
They blew out Hawaii.
They think they can win. What would that loss to LSU mean?
Fred Ogeron.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like LSU is obviously favored to win just because it is LSU. But at the same time, I think that UCLA has put together a respectable team on both sides of the ball. And the thing about LSU is that there's a lot of the right pieces in place, but none of it's proven. And LSU is also coming off of the relocation, all the scatterbrainness, I guess, of Hurricane Ida hitting and all the having to relocate and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think that it's a winnable game for UCLA. I don't think that they do it, but I mean, the point spread I was looking at earlier had LSU favored by like less than 3 points.
Yeah.
So that tells you that people are looking for this one to be close.
Yep.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I'd be surprised if it goes either way. I think LSU has the edge. I think they have a better talent overall. But I mean, I can certainly see why UCLA thinks that it has a chance.
I think they said last week was Chip's first out of conference win. What, 3 years?
Since Oregon.
That's wild.
And when you look at LSU, I mean, obviously the defense kind of speaks for itself. They did lose to Jabril Cox. They lost some leftovers from that national title team, but they still have arguably two of the best corners in the country. But their receiver, Keyshawn, I think it's Boot. I always get those.
Okay.
Boutte. He had like 300 plus yards receiving, 3 touchdowns against Ole Miss. Like, people were totally. It feels like they're not even talking about him. I mean, yeah, they just had 2 of the best receivers in school history, and Terrence Marshall came after them. What do you expect from that offense and those quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think that LSU has the most stacked quarterback room that it's seen in a very, very long time. We've entered a new era of recruiting as far as quarterbacks go at LSU because of what Joe Burrow was able to do. And I thought that this room was absolutely stacked. I was never really a big Miles Brennan fan for multiple reasons, but I think that Garrett Nussmeier has the highest ceiling in that room. I think that's something that's really come to light throughout fall camp. I like a lot of what Max Johnson does. I think that it speaks volumes the way that he was able to come in, thrown into the fire in the midst of a COVID season. And then he goes and takes over against number 6 ranked Florida, leads his team to a victory in the middle of the densest fog I've ever seen in a game I've covered. I don't think they could even see what they were doing down there. And then he comes back and beats Ole Miss at home. And so I think that he showed good leadership ability. I think that he showed a solid foundation as a passer. I think there's some room to improve there, but I also think what he brings from a mobility aspect and that kind of thing is really good. And I think that he has some of the best spin moves that I've ever seen from a quarterback. And so I'm really excited about that guy. I listed him as my Heisman long shot. I don't think he's going to win it, but as far as long shots go, he's my favorite. So, I mean, I think that LSU has a really good quarterback room. And then as far as the wide receiver thing you were saying, maybe it just takes a little while for people to warm up to another one because LSU constantly reloads at wide receiver. And this is a guy that we haven't really seen a lot. So, like, we haven't seen him the same way that we saw Ja'Marr Chase and Justin Jefferson. So I think that he's getting a little bit of recognition now, and it's just going to grow over the season. And maybe if he continues the way he has them by the end of the season, he won't be so, I guess, unknown anymore.
Yeah, speaking of Ole Miss, obviously Mississippi, that state's, at least recently, between the personalities you have with, with Leach and Kiffin and that air raid, like, they're going to be putting up some points. But what's a realistic, outlook for Mississippi State this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that with having a full off season to rep an offense that is based on repetition and execution, I think it helps a lot. I think talent wise, I would like them to be just a little bit farther, but I think that, I think that when you look at both sides of the ball, we have a lot of guys who are underrated. I think that this wide receiving core between Austin Williams, Jaden Wally, Mekhi Polk, guys like that is really well-rounded and a lot more versatile than people give it credit for. I've heard several times from the coaches that you're going to see around 8 receivers take the field this year. And that's the thing about the air raid is that the concept of it is not we have this standout receiver. So it's not like let's just take an example. Let's look at the Titans and say, oh, we have A.J. Brown as our number one guy. Just Julio Jones, that's another story. But anyway, so let's say A.J. Brown's our number one guy. So we're always throwing to him. He has way more yards than every other receiver. That's not how it works in the air raid. So there's no real standout. And that's not to say that one guy might not be a lot more talented than the other, but the concept is we're going to throw it to open grass and we're going to throw it to the guy who can score the quickest, whoever ends up being in that position. That really, when you look at the progressions, the quarterback goes through who's open, who's being covered, who's not, who's has a chance to get close to the end zone. I could go on for that about 2 hours or so. But anyway.
That sounds like a podcast special on its own.
Mississippi air raid.
Yeah. So I think that they have a really well-rounded wide receiving core. Could have gone off for a long time about that. But so they have that. They have one of the best secondaries, if not the best secondary in college football. I think they have a much improved offensive line. I think that they have a superior pass rush and that we're going to see really emerge. I think that Brandon Ruiz is a very good kicker that they have on special teams. I think that looking at running backs, I think that maybe we see a little bit more from the running game this year, not a ton because that is not Mike Leach's style. But I think that this offense produces some really good, really versatile running backs who can do quite a bit, and they're well prepared for the NFL, and they can do a lot on the college football field as well. And then we look at the quarterback position. I think Will Rogers is going to be the starter. I don't think that's much of a secret at this point. So it's a matter of whether or not he can level up within this offense. I think he's shown some good things. I'm not quite sold on him yet. I think I ranked him number 8 in the quarterback rankings today when I updated them. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of emerging talent, still a very young team, but with a little bit of experience under the belt and some normalcy kind of returning. So I slated them to go 9-3. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I figured around like between 7 and 9 wins. But I think the real issue, at least long term, how do you see them functioning as like a mid-level to trying to get to an elite program with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the Big 12?
SEC.
I mean, SEC.
Yeah, I think
leaving the Big 12
yeah,
coming to
I
SEC.
mean, I think that is kind of something that's from a recruiting standpoint, and the more success you have, the better you're going to recruit, and that's just kind of how it works with everything. That's why Alabama always lands the best players, because they've been winning for so long, and it's why LSU is now recruiting quarterbacks, because they had Joe Burrow. It's a trend thing, and these are young guys making decisions on stuff like that. So, I mean, I think in the long term, if you keep Mike Leach there, every single place that he has been has elevated, and these are not just programs that are like programs that are already good. I mean, I'm talking places like Iowa Wesleyan that you've never really heard of, that they basically had to leave the school because football was starting to become too big of a deal because they had elevated the program that much. I think Iowa Wesleyan, they still run the air raid, and I think that they have the number 7 passing offense in the country, and that's a school that no one looks at ever. So that speaks volumes about this team just in general. And then Texas Tech, the wonders that Mike Leach did for Texas Tech, they were never on the map before he got there. They haven't been the same since he left. Same thing with Wazoo, even though it's only been like a year or two. So, I mean, I think that, like Steve Spurrier Jr. said after practice to us one day, the best thing that Mississippi State is going for it is Mike Leach's track record, and I have full trust in his ability to just really take this program to new heights.
Yeah, so you talked a little bit about the conference realignment and stuff, and I know that you follow the conference as a whole. So did that change how you look at the conference, how you cover it? Because, you know, over here, we kind of just look at the SEC as this big bully, and now the bully got bigger. So I'm just curious, like, what was that like coming from where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were mixed opinions on it. There seems to be this big thing going around how a lot of fans and people think that Texas is soft, which I think is a little bit weird for blasting a cannon through Joe Burrow's jersey. I didn't like that. I thought it was very dumb. But anyway, outside of that, I think that Oklahoma is a really interesting school to have in here. And obviously, I'm a big air raid person. And so they have Lincoln Riley there, who is on the coaching tree. I'm on the air raid nearly the same way that Mike Leach does. But it's something that's going to be really fun for me to watch, especially. I know they're not in the SEC right now, but having a quarterback who's supposed to be the number 1 overall is a fun thing, too.
And so, just to bring everything kind of full circle, you know, you were at the Senior Bowl with us. You covered these guys from 2 years ago. You know, you've been covering quarterbacks since then. So who's your breakout quarterback in the NFL this year, whether it's a first or, you know, second year player? You know, who do you really see as maybe the surprise player that people aren't talking about?
I mean, I don't really, I guess, as far as if you want to go really deep, I don't think that he's going to get the chances he deserves, but I've been on Anthony Gordon for a long time. I think that he has one of the best releases in the NFL, and I think that he's someone who's shown, even in the little blips that we've seen of him in the preseason, that he absolutely deserves a chance. But this, I don't want to call it politics. I don't know what the right word for it is, but it's like guys get drafted so high and then guys get drafted so low and then guys go undrafted, and there's kind of this.
It's like a status.
Follows them around.
Yeah. It's
So I almost feel
like a
like
class
he's
system.
going to just continuously be overlooked, and I would hope not. I hope that he isn't, but I think that he absolutely has what it takes to get a chance. And the other thing too is that he ran the air raid at Wazoo, and a lot of people, like I said, another 2-hour conversation I could have, but a lot of people don't realize how much the air raid demands of a quarterback and how much they actually command the offense themselves and make their own calls in some situations, which is why it's so hilarious to me after I learned the offense. Like people are like, oh, this is a system quarterback because he played in the air raid. And like, that guy's played way more intelligent than half these others because of what was demanded of him. So Anthony Gordon, that's a guy that I would like to see do well. I'm not sure that he will, just because of the circumstances. And then as far as, just rookies go, this is certainly not an overlooked or an underrated guy, but I had Zach Wilson ahead of Trevor Lawrence, and I caught quite a bit of flack for it until everybody else jumped on the bandwagon after I did it first and, caught all the heat for it and everything. And then people wanted to act like they thought that that's what they were thinking originally, which really I said it first, but whatever.
Yeah, it's all right.
So
For the record, you're setting the record straight here.
Based on a preseason alone, which you can only judge so much for preseason, I thought that Zach Wilson was better than Trevor Lawrence. I think that a lot of people think that too, but I don't think a lot of people have said it. And I'm very excited to watch those two go out and play regular season games because, I have nothing against Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, it was separated by a hair, but people chose to make it into a big deal. So I think that Zach Wilson still has the edge, and I'm very much looking forward to him continuing to prove that whenever we start this regular season schedule off.
All right, Chrissy. Well, thank you for joining us, staying up with us, calling in. We appreciate it. As always, awesome stuff. Do you want to just let the people know what you got coming up, what you're working on, where they can find you?
Yeah, so I'm actually starting some new quarterback-based betting content at NBC Sports. It's really fun, really interesting and new because if you follow my work, I've never really been big in on the betting game. So this is kind of a different journey for me, but it's been fun to kind of do something new because I haven't done something new in a long time when it comes to this industry. And then obviously covering Mississippi State for Sports Illustrated on that site, and then a bunch of quarterback stuff pretty much, I'd say 4 times a week on the Draft Network. So got a lot of stuff going on.
So is it like DFS stuff or like prop bets?
It's mostly just kind of like, this is our perspective on here's 4 interesting games to watch, and from the quarterback perspective, how the quarterback's going to perform and
how they'll affect
how
the
does
spread,
that affect whether or not the team covers spread.
Okay. That sounds interesting. I'll definitely check that out. Well, thank you for joining us. Have a great night, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Bye. That was Chrissy.
You gotta hit him with a round of applause.
Chrissy
man.
Floyd. I don't know why I forgot her last name.
I was waiting for you to say it, but I was like, all right. And we can all agree that Texas is soft. I've been saying Texas is soft for years.
I just love the interviews where it's like we're not the smartest people in the room. Like, I just love those interviews. Like, it just makes me feel like
it's like, oh,
I learned some people learn something like, oh, there's actually other people who actually like watch football.
I'm just glad there's somebody else out there who agrees that like Mike Leach is a offensive football wizard and elevates programs, even though he's like kind of kooky and allegedly racist, but mostly just kooky as fuck. Like, totally, like you would invite him to a dinner and he would say something weird that would piss everybody off, but he would like win half the room back. He's one of those things. And yeah, LSU, the fact that there's Brad Johnson's son, got there and he looks like a vocal leader. He looks like he might be the guy, honestly, long term. Like,
so with that, I guess we segue to college football.
But if LSU really does lose to UCLA, yeah, that's a fireable offense.
I don't know about that.
Charbonnet, yeah, it is. It's a fireable.
Didn't they drop an out of conference game last year?
Doesn't matter. LSU's not supposed to lose to UCLA in football. Ever.
All I know is the UCLA fans I was talking to were like,
They're just hoping for.
If he wins this one, it was like finally, Chip Kelly, you finally did something for us.
It'll be the most impactful game in UCLA football history since Carr Durrell beat the dog shit out of Oklahoma.
What about those like
fluke years?
3 UCLA wins over USC in that time?
It don't matter because Jim. What
matter.
What did Jim Moore do?
That's literally all he did. That's literally all he did.
And lose to Texas every year.
And a bunch of draft busts.
Get clapped by
a bunch of draft busts.
A bunch. A lot of draft busts. But yeah, you look at it. And you
Shout out to Kenny Clark.
Wow, what?
Colton Miller.
Kenny Clark is like an all-pro.
That's what I'm saying. They're the only 2 that weren't buzzed.
Colton Miller, it's too early.
He's a Pro Bowl. Pro Bowler?
He was?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's got a second contract. Damn. And he's got a second contract. He was a 10 pick. He's doing a lot better than Rosen, who he was traded for.
Rosen never got a fair shake.
Rosen was the 10, which was the Raiders' original pick, and they moved down and took Miller. So
that's what you're saying. I still would take Derwin James. I would take Tremont Edwards personally, but Edmonds.
Miller was better than both of us thought.
Edmonds was. They could have got Miller later in the draft. Is what I'm saying.
All right, move on with your college football spot.
I'm sorry about the Raiders and their shitty drafting, which is why they're $5 million over the cap. But whatever. Okay, so on to college football. So it's back in full swing. There's HBCU games that happened this past week. I think they played them on NFL Network, but definitely, and they're on ESPN, so definitely check those out, man. Like a lot, especially Aquil Glass out of Alabama A&M, I want to say. Dude threw like 7 touchdowns in a game, like in the spring or whatever.
7
touchdowns. So like cats can play. And then I remember I saw they're like, oh, today is like the however many years anniversary of Steve McNair pretty much winning the Heisman for like D2.
Did you just look at what today was in sports?
No, it wasn't.
Why
today.
do you know all these weird references of sports history today?
Hi. My name is Kenneth Berry. I know a bunch of random shit about a bunch of random shit that's very well versed. But
Don't put that on. That's my word.
Okay. Anyway, got on the Bay Area. But yeah. So Steve McNair had like 6,200 total yards.
You saw that video from 2007 with the Keek the Sneak song, right?
That shit was trash.
Okay.
The best thing about the video was the song.
I just want you to know.
Your mirror was dirty.
I was really in the street.
Your mirror. No, you
listen
weren't.
to Bay Area
You were in your room.
I was listening
You were in your fucking room.
Music.
You were in your room. You were in your room with a shitty high top.
I'm just saying. You over here,
that doesn't count.
You over here saying I just started listening to fucking Keep the Sneak in fucking 2015.
I don't believe.
I have the receipts, bro. Receipts go back.
That's the only one. You ain't fucking. Did you like White Girl when it came out?
Yes, I did.
Who's it by?
I got.
Who's it by?
I don't know. It was featuring E40.
Wow. It's E40 song.
Mr. Fab. I don't know.
Oh my god. Him and their cousins.
San Quinn.
Mr. FAB is cousins with Marshawn Lynch. But for real, you didn't even know that White Girl was literally E40 song. You're such a culture vulture.
I knew E40 was on it. Anyways, finish your college football. Sorry.
Damn it, bro.
I don't know what.
We're gonna have when Barely a Tangent season 2 drops before the year's over. Definitely in the fall. We're gonna have an episode about all the shit you culture vulture. I'm gonna bring on people you know. I'm gonna find people, and we're gonna bring up all the topics that you've culture vultured. Like, and Bay Area culture is definitely one of them, but that's a whole nother story. All right, so please tell me you heard about the Bishop Sycamore high school, allegedly not high school scandal.
I definitely did.
The memes, the Trillion Williams, I think that's his last name.
Well, we know somebody at ESPN doesn't watch high school football.
Somebody's about to lose their job. By the way, I'm available if you need like a social media person.
How y'all lose to an AAF team?
How you lose to a team that's probably not even good enough to play semi-pro football because IMG Academy was beating them 44-0. And in the story that I read was one on Deadspin and another one, they beat up a homeless dude before the fucking game, bro. Because he tried to break into a guy's car. And then the pregame in the locker room, they're like, if you're not ready to go out there and murder somebody, kill someone, don't just stay. The coach is like, just stay inside. Like, fam, the coach probably had a felony. I don't know how the hell y'all talking like that. Like the coach allegedly.
Well, they said one of the
was arrested
players.
and they found another one.
They said one of the players was like some receiver dude who had already gotten like kicked off his high school team because he lied about having like 7 offers and there was nothing in any database anywhere.
There's like a bunch
And he
of
was on
JUCO
the
guys,
team.
a bunch of JUCO guys who are washed out playing on the team. I'm talking about cats who are probably around our age or possibly younger, definitely younger.
They should have played the Harlem Globetrotters.
Like
in
if
football.
Gridiron Gang,
the Globetrotters would have
if
beat them.
Gridiron Gang was a real movie,
That's what
and The
they
Rock
were.
filled that team, that's what they would be. That's Gridiron Gang brought to real life. If like that was the thing. I'm just like, yo, fam. They had the Any Given Sunday jerseys on, the all blacks with the white trim. It kind of looks sick. And then they got
And then
the
they got
cheeks
their
clapped
ass beat by some kids.
by some kids who transferred to like an academy school to where they only focus on football and don't ever go to class, apparently.
All right.
Like, but shout out to these other schools in other states where like football, they treat it like you get room and board and it's actually a job, where in California, JUCO kids go hungry and get their dreams crushed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was dark.
Yeah. Did you not watch the last football version of
just play in the Sun Belt or Mountain West, bro. If you can.
or just
you don't have to go to
go to the
JUCO.
Big West. Go to the Big West, bro.
Big West doesn't have a team.
Big West
Football
doesn't have a
anymore.
football team. Yes, they do.
Big West?
Yes, they do.
The conference?
Yes, they do.
They don't have football.
What the fuck is Cal Poly's football team conference in then? They played. UC Davis was actually beating Tulsa.
Huh. Interesting.
Huh.
I'll have to research this.
Again.
They played.
Hello, caller.
UC Davis was.
Wow.
Hello.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And turn your life down in the background a little bit.
Oh, God damn it. My name is Alex Himes. I'm calling from Overland in California.
Nice. Are there any
Wow.
Are there
Do
any
you want to
like,
give us your full cross streets?
Am I gonna like give the full rundown? I am one of the hosts of Courtside Radio on the beautiful Good News Radio Network. Sorry, I was just listening
brand
to
recognition?
you.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. We've had like 50 to like 100 guests on, and Alex Himes is the first one to introduce himself, man. Congrats
Well,
to you.
shalom, everyone.
Shalom, my brother.
I heard. Let me tell you something. I heard Kenny just spit roasting you like a pig in a Hawaiian film, like straight out of something from Forgetting Sarah Marshall for calling you a culture vulture.
Bro, he
I just want to let you
is.
know, as the other potential culture vulture from the Good News Radio, I'm sorry, and I feel your pain.
I feel like Himes listened to E40 before you did. I'm pretty sure he knew that White Girl was a song about cocaine, and that
I knew
E40
that song was
it was
about
E40.
cocaine.
Okay, as long as you, all right, I can work with that at least.
All right, are we gonna like just point out the elephant in the room here? White girls and cocaine pretty much go hand in hand in society's eyes. So like, why wouldn't it be about the other?
It's like fentanyl and white people. I'm sorry. No, it's literally like black people and Kool-Aid. These are really horrible social like comparisons, but
You could go with Jewish people and Lodkos, but I can make that one because that's a thing.
yeah. Okay,
I
it's
love
the
my
Big
potato
Sky
connection.
Conference, Pete. Okay, Pete. They just renamed it. They went from Big West to Big Sky. Congratulations. Same difference.
Oh man.
They both have crappy basketball teams. But yeah, Himes, go ahead. Continue.
No, I want to tell you guys a story. So we made our fantasy football teams at work, right? I joined our league. I finally caved. And I was trying to think of the best name, right?
Mhm.
And this goes back to our shows. People would watch our shows and they called me Liberal Whitlock. Liberal Jason Whitlock.
What? Yo.
Straight up. So my fantasy football team's name is the Liberal Whitlock.
That is wonderfully beautiful. That is magically delicious. That is hilarious.
Oh,
Wow.
dude. Give me a better football team name.
I mean, ours is touchdowns and tangents taking over the 99s and 2000s.
That's why.
That's like 15 words.
Yeah, that's why
I mean,
I didn't co-sign that.
that's because you didn't join the league yet, so you fucked up.
You didn't get my express written permission to use the touchdowns and tangents trademark
Moniker?
Yeah.
See, you start out the show, Kenny, by roasting him for being culture vulture. Now he comes at you with the business aspect, trying to just get that revenge, that subtle dig at the back end.
He's like, wait.
I told you.
He's like, you come up with 90% of the titles, but that wasn't a good one. That's fair. I can't bat 1,000.
So, while we have you, do you want to just give us all your draft strategy?
Oh, man. My draft strategy overall has been kind of here, there, and everywhere. I've been looking. I got to tell you, the major impact for my draft has been the COVID vaccine. Like, there are only 2 teams in the NFL right now that have 100% vaccination. No, think about it.
The Bucks?
If a guy isn't available, yeah, the Bucks and the Falcons.
The Falcons are 100%? Wow.
I'm pretty sure they're 100%, yeah.
The Raiders are like 95.
But the Falcons be
Yeah,
choking.
is that 100? But I will tell you, my favorite.
It's okay, I have no Raiders on my team.
fantasy draft is from the Raiders.
Please don't say Derek Carr.
Waller, Jacobs.
Darren Waller. My favorite tight end. I specified tight end.
That is fair.
Yeah, he's a great player. I just the value has to be there for me. It's hard to because man, you either get one of the top tight ends or you just get a guy.
I had Waller and TJ Hawkinson on my team last year.
That is straight up my 2 tight end set.
That's beautiful. You can start Hawkinson like every week, especially when he had that game on a touchdown. I want to say against the Falcons, he had a game on a touchdown last year, and I was like, score. I just won. Even though Kamara scored 7 touchdowns, and I hate the Vikings defense forever because I lost in the championship game after setting a fucking record for most points in the season and wins. And I lost to a dude who had no business being in the fucking title game because Kamara had 7
Bro, nobody wants
touchdowns.
to talk about your free fantasy league.
By the way, how much is this league paying, Himes, or can you openly, publicly say
Everyone,
that?
I will say it's paying for a couple rounds of drinks.
Shout out to Mark Bland. He bought me
a good night's worth.
That's pretty size. That's anywhere from $100 to $250, depending on how much Johnny Walker Black label you want to drink.
And you mentioned the COVID vaccine. Do you think it's fair that they're making unvaccinated players go through so much, like not being able to go out with a team, not being able to visit family during the bye week, like all that sort of stuff?
It's a business, man. Look, if we as a country are currently trying to get other people to get vaccinated, period, right?
Yeah.
What makes you think that a private establishment, from just a purely business perspective, my 2 cents,
an asset and liabilities.
Yep.
Yes, and my 2 cents comes from the fact that I'm a business major, so that's really where my focus is going to be. Yeah, the NFL can do it, and to be quite frank, I don't have an issue with it because it then causes players to actually do more research into it, as opposed to just believing the media belief or whatever they're reading on Facebook or their grandma's texting them, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, if people want to think they have a tracking device in it, look at your phone. The government knows exactly what porn you watch, where you're going, when you're going, and how you're going about it. So,
they probably actually market what porn they think you should watch. Now that you think about it, you're just 100%. Randomly scrolling. You're scrolling through anything, and just random shit pops up. That's probably the agent who's assigned to your case file, who's just encouraging you to watch certain shit. Now that's creepy.
Wait, I'll tell you this much. I can explain this just very briefly in 10 seconds. Everything that you search is basically broken down into this thing called metadata. Companies buy metadata to then figure out how to advertise to the end consumer. And Facebook and other companies can sell your profile to them so they can understand it, which means when you go on your news feed and you see advertisements that are eerily similar to what you thought about, it's because you've looked at something and they're gathering a pattern of what your research is to better market to you.
Algorithms are crazy.
But it's not just those are the obvious ones, but it's essentially everything.
When I wanted Pad Thai, I kept saying
anytime you're in public, your data is being recorded and it's being sold. The GPS coordinates, the Visa transactions,
Apple
all
Pay.
that stuff. It's all interconnected.
The app. think about the Waze app. It literally generates the best patterns for you to travel based off of other people's traveling habits and putting together that whole streamline as a map for you to get from point A to point B the fastest way possible, even with side streets.
Yep.
That shit crazy.
I hate that shit because it always takes me through a hood though.
I
Like,
know where you're going
no,
through, man.
turn left on this alley, bro. You live in the west side of LA. You could go 2 miles and be in. I'm trying to
the
trying
hood
to
part
think
of downtown LA.
I was trying to think of
There's a hood ass part of downtown LA.
I was gonna say a politically
There is.
correct term of.
Once you get close to the Staples Center, depending on which way you go, it's kind of shaky.
Kenny, look what you did. You already made it. You made the vulture culture comment, and now Pete's like, "Oh man, what do I say for this comment?"
He's doing it, bro. He does it. He just knows a little. He knows a little bit of information, and he's like, "I'm back in the game." All right. It's like we're just all shooting dice, and he's been fucking rolling snake eyes the past 4 times. And right before he's about to lose all his
Figured
money,
out
he
what
rolls a
snake I
7.
was on the 3rd time.
Yep, he rolls a 7. He's like, "All right, I'm back in it." I'm like, fam.
7.
Okay, bro.
And he's like, "Hey, blowing the dice." That's what he
The
tells the person
weekend
next to him, blowing
I
the
learned
dice.
how to spades. You swear like I came in here trying to play spades with you. You didn't even know I learned how to play
When you were
spades. Did I even
Do
tell you that?
Do you know how to play spades?
I just learned like 6 months ago.
Then you don't know how to play spades.
Exactly. But I'm not saying I do.
Wait.
You just said you do.
No.
You just said you learn how to play
you can-
spades.
you
I
can
learned
say
how
that
to
he knows
play,
how to
not
play.
Who
good.
taught you how to play?
Some dude who was in jail.
Is he black?
He's like mixed.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
don't know,
what does
man.
that matter, bro?
It kind of matters. Who
He was in
teaches you
jail.
Spades. Like, because it matters who taught him how to play spades.
He learned it in
No,
jail.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying why does it matter what type of person he is in jail?
Because I don't know just a random Mexican dude who can play spades.
Why not?
That doesn't exist.
That's
a unicorn.
That's not a unicorn, bro.
Bro,
I'm pretty
black
sure
people are
there's
known for
random
playing spades. What are you talking about? This is like a cultural thing.
Actually, I lied. That dude's
No.
not mixed. He's Mexican. He gets mad because everyone thinks he's mixed, but he's actually just Mexican.
Yeah.
So I found
Yeah.
you a random Mexican
So
guy
he's
who
a
knows how to
northern.
play
He's
speed.
Norteños because I mean, like the northern like Mexicans
Nah,
pretty much cake with black people all day, every day.
Nah, he's
Southern is a little bit different.
he's a Jehovah's.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a Jehovah's Witness. You should have said
This
that.
is a prisoner that was a Jehovah's Witness. That's a Mexican dude that taught you how to play spades. Dude,
Jehovah's
that's like
Wit-
a plot line to a Netflix show.
I could just finish writing that tonight. Like we could just get a miniseries going. Oh, what if?
Point is, you think that when I learn things, I just come in here and be like, "Oh, I'm an expert on this," but it's not true.
I mean,
If the guy is from Mexico, I have the perfect name for the show. All Mexico.
Oh my god, that's a great idea for a show. We should just have fucking athletes on and play spades with them
yeah. And then they tell you how bad your spades
and
playing is.
and interview them.
They're like,
But that's like the equivalent to all the smoke, just without the smoke.
except
I mean,
like,
there probably would be smoke.
Or the hot, or the
but we didn't
fucking,
get punked by
that
anybody.
hot wing show without the wings.
Hot ones?
We could have wings too. We could have wings and spades.
Definitely. Probably it'll be hood
That's-
Chinese and spades.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think like you play spades and eat wings, like that shit's gonna get all over the cards, man. You gotta think ahead.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot that goes
That's
into
why you're
playing
the
spades.
businessman.
There's a lot that goes into playing spades.
That's why I don't see people playing dominoes and eating chicken. Like that's
Oh no, that happens.
It
That
doesn't
happens
work.
all day, every day.
All right. So the last
Man,
time,
I don't do that shit.
so
you ain't been to enough barbecues.
So before the show, we have someone who you're close to who was in the studio with us.
Who's a Chiefs fan?
One of your colleagues,
Oh no.
you know,
He said
whatever
y'all
you
got-
want to call him.
He said y'all got a detox album out there.
He said you guys got a
podcast.
detox album.
It resembles a podcast, but it's
Resembles a
more of
podcast. He said you
we
are.
actually do have a mixtape. though.
He said
That's
you are the
under wraps.
Kanye West of the good news, in that you're sitting on a bunch of content. So we just want to know when is the world gonna see this don't at me content?
when you gonna drop Tiana Taylor's album?
Oh
with the
man,
right version.
Michael's trying to blow me up right now. Put me on blast via like this is like the equivalent of getting a summons.
We Chris
This
Hansen.
is what happens when you introduce yourself on our show.
We Chris Hansen.
Damn it.
Don't worry, everybody else on the good news. We don't do this to everyone.
Congratulations, you played yourself. No, so the Don't At Me content is coming very shortly. The beautiful thing is I've just moved into my new place, and tomorrow I will be getting my new computer to actually start editing again. We were running into issues after the move due to hard drive malfunctions over wiring issues, and thankfully I finally got it figured out, have the setup ready to go, and we're actually going to be putting out, I think, at least 4 to 5 episodes in the next couple weeks. So that's
all right. So you heard it here first, listeners. The next month,
exclusive drop clues bombs.
If we don't get 4 episodes in the next month, we are Himes is canceled. We are taking a knee on Himes' Instagram page. We're gonna go live,
right, bro,
and tag you, and it's just gonna be me and Kenny just taking a knee.
I'm gonna tell you,
eating wings.
I've taken a knee on my own. And
we're gonna be playing spades while we do it.
While shit's been going on. And I'll also add this: have you ever seen a Jewish guy canceled other than Madoff and Epstein for what they did?
Give me a second. Woody Allen, kind of.
Yeah, we don't count him.
No one counts Woody Allen.
He got his card revoked.
I feel like, is Danny Masterson Jewish?
My point is thus made.
Is Danny Masterson Jewish?
Are you saying you're uncancelable?
No, bro.
He kind of just said Jewish people aren't cancelable.
Yeah, bro. That is essentially what I'm saying.
But is Danny Masterson Jewish?
A Scientologist. No, he's a Scientologist.
Okay, cool. I thought he was Jewish and then came out as a Scientologist. I was just confused by like him and 3 of the people on that show became Scientologists. It creeped me the fuck out.
Bro, just because he is a Jew, bro, doesn't mean he's automatically in the fam.
I thought
definitely not a tribesman.
He convinced me with the shag. I thought he had it, and then it came out like, oh no, he's a creep. And then he got that weird mustache afterwards, and I was just like, okay, he's not.
Now you look like a creep that would drive a white van at night,
like with extra tinted windows. Like,
yeah, actually, my bad. It'd be a dark gray to black van, and it would have like scuff marks on it and some type of sign, like a plumbing thing on the side.
It'd be a Chevy Astro, bro. With 2-tone gray colors on the back, a Chevy Astro.
All right, so real quick,
you want me to give you my rundown?
I was gonna ask your opinions on Cam Newton.
That's what I was gonna ask you
about the Patriots.
Because we haven't even talked about that yet. We honestly haven't even got to any of our show.
We really have. We were talking to me.
Hey man, I'm happy to talk about this. I'm happy to talk about whatever, all the way down to conspiracy theories and why Joe Rogan has taken a pet medication to get over COVID. I
was like, no one's gonna point out ivermectin as a fucking horse dewormer. Like
Somebody put that out.
We're gonna look past all that.
What are you talking about? Look at every news channel in the United States. It's all over it. Joe Rogan takes ivermectin treating for horses.
Yeah, and then they dubbed it down. I'm just like, this is more disturbing than how old boy got murdered on Titans season 3. No spoilers.
But yeah,
I thought you were. I don't know why. Okay, wait. I'll go to Cam Newton in a sec. But I got to tell you, I thought you were going with Attack on Titan season 3, and I was like, wait a sec, what?
That's an even more fucked up spoiler, and that just might make you lose faith in humanity. How that turned out, but yeah, that's an even bigger spoiler.
Dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, so Cam Newton. The situation with him was just pretty upfront. Like, you have the behind-the-scenes stuff, which is he didn't want to get the COVID vaccine. He didn't have it. He ended up getting called in to do a test because there was some, activity he was doing outside, questionable. Whatever it may be is how the media portrays it, which is probably just him hanging out with some friends. He didn't want to get the vaccine. Okay, Bill Belichick is not playing around and can run the team however he may. And the beautiful thing for him is that he had another quarterback on the roster that he thought was more than capable to handle the starting role for the New England Patriots. We've seen him do it before with young Tom Brady, where he uses the rushing game to his advantage to take a lot of the weight off of their young quarterback's shoulders. And that's basically the same path that Bill is doing with Mac Jones right now. And I personally don't have an issue with it. I think Mac's going to be more than capable as a starter. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I also think that Cam's time with the Patriots was at its near end from the jump. It was more of all right, we'll go into training camp, see how this guy looks, see how Mac looks, and if he's more than capable, all right, then maybe he'll be a backup. This situation with COVID really just tipped it over the edge where Bill was like, I have an excuse to cut you, and we don't need you. We can run this whole show without you and do this with another quarterback that starts the next era of Patriots football, or is presumed by every Patriots fan coming out of the woodwork out of nowhere.
Yeah, man. Like, because even last year, Cam, the first couple games was slow. Like, he was still getting his feet in the offense. Then he started to really kind of show a little bit coming into his own. And then he got COVID, and then that just threw everything. And now this with COVID, it's like, damn, COVID's really up 2-0 on Cam.
Well,
Honestly,
that's what I was
3.
saying earlier about drafting in general. Like,
Yeah.
in you have to really take into consideration that some of those guys might not realistically be available. Some guys, for a fact, are solid blocks because the teams that they're on, or you also can see blatantly from their social media posts if they are vaccinated or not, because they go about showing it off or talking about how others should.
Dang, you definitely got to make a
rely on-
database. Sell access
Yeah,
to
man.
it.
I mean, fuck, man. I ain't got the time for that, man. I work.
It'll be
listen, you can
VFF.
find some.
Bro, he has to give us.
Vaccinated football focus.
Bro, he has to. You might get sued for that. That's a likeness connection. Depending also the lettering.
Come on. If you make that as like a blog thing for some type of fantasy draft, you can get away with that crap.
Yeah.
I mean, they have that everywhere. So if you just say fantasy draft,
It's transformative.
A Medium post?
It's transformative.
It's a Medium post. You just avoid all legal liability through Medium post.
Or you just go ahead and hire some guy in Turkey to make it for you. No, I am not endorsing that. Wink, wink.
I mean, we
right, so-
got a dude from the Middle East who did our theme music.
So, one more hot take on the Patriots season before we let you go.
One more hot take. I genuinely believe the Patriots will go anywhere between 10-7 and 11-6. I am firm on that belief. Not just, I understand that we have some opponents that are pretty decent overall, but think about like some of the lower end talent that we're going to face, teams that are still figuring out. Like, hell, we still play Miami twice. I mean, that's just a beautiful thing. That's a gimme win.
Why do they not like Tua?
Brady at the
It
last,
doesn't make sense to me.
Because Tua's a game manager.
I guess.
And he doesn't
You
look
have
he
Mac
doesn't have the
Jones.
lead arm talent.
And I'm telling you right now, there are more than capable tight ends on both ends for this man to throw to. We have some decent receivers that I'm excited to see grow, and potentially seeing the evolution of N'Keal Harry if that ever happens.
He's on IR
squad.
for a couple weeks.
Well, for now.
Yep, couple
But
weeks.
the thing that's going to make his life a lot easier is having a guy like Damian Harris. I'm telling you, Damian Harris is one of my steals for fantasy if I can get him at the right sweet spot. He's my fourth running back right now that I have.
That's the hard part with the Patriots is
where
you just never know. They always mix so many different guys.
Plus that Oklahoma running back who killed it this preseason.
Yep.
All right, so the hot take in this is you're taking New England over Buffalo in the division.
That's blasphemous.
Absolutely not.
Come on.
They might
I think
finish third.
for as much as the Patriots are going to be a very interesting and fun team and a good team to watch this year, Buffalo, to me, has all the respect. It is still their division. They have such a great elite talent in Josh Allen, and having guys like Diggs, it's just too much of a good team with a solid defense. Not to mention, they got injury insurance. If something happens to Josh Allen, God forbid, they have a guy in Mitch Trubisky whom I covered in preseason and looked really damn good. It looks like he just needed to get out of Chicago. So Buffalo is more than capable of stealing this division by a solid 3 games.
All right, he's Alex Himes from Courtside Radio. Don't At Me and everywhere else you can find his great content. Himes, thank you for calling in. We're gonna beat you in fantasy. Let the people know where they can find you. And what you got coming up.
Well, I appreciate Culture Vulture. Pete doing his thing right now. Shout out to PB. Kenny doing his thing as well. We love you guys on Touchdowns and Tangents. You can find my stuff at Alex Himes on social media, but realistically, you can find me at HimesLA, HYMESLA on all social media, and catch us on YouTube. Don't At Me with Alex and Michael, and catch all the great content that we have coming out each week soon enough.
All right, man. Well, thank you. Stay safe. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. Peace.
Work on that Spades game.
Peace. Oh, wait. One more thing, if I have a sec.
Go ahead.
Hey, Kenny,
Yeah.
you're gonna owe me 50 wings by the end of this season. I bet on that.
Damn.
I'm not. I don't make bets that I lose. That's why I beat Keith last year. So it's gonna have to be a hell of a bet. Like New England's gonna have a 1,000-yard receiver this year.
All right. Give me what your team's record will be at the end of this season.
8-10, but I'm not very optimistic on the Raiders because they find.
Do you think the Raiders are gonna have a better record than the Patriots?
No. That the defense for the Patriots, they got everybody coming back.
Ice
who took a year off.
Yep.
Ice Trader
Like
gang.
Dante Hightower's back. Like
Ice Trader gang.
Come on, I'm trying to do.
I say 10-8 for the Raiders.
All right.
I say
his
10
ball
and eight.
dropped. His ball dropped a little bit. There you go.
Okay, the Patriots are going to win 9 games this year. 9 games. I got the Patriots 9 games.
He just looked up. He just wiped by the side of his lip and saw blood.
Hey, Kenny,
They're not going to have a 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver this year. Is that good
I'm
enough?
telling you this right now. We'll make this bet. The same bet I made with Bruce back on courtside. I bet him over a Speedo. If I win this bet and my Pats have a better record than your Raiders, you have to wear a Speedo and come on courtside. If you win, I wear a Speedo and show up.
You got to wear Keith's Reptar costume.
I wear a Reptar costume, but I'm not doing a Speedo. I'm not chafing my balls like that.
Come on.
That's
You don't need to chafe your balls, bro. Just put some baby powder and you'll be good. You were an athlete. You know how it goes.
I'm not a
Just
Speedo
fucking
guy.
man up.
Not a Speedo guy. Never.
Neither am I, but I did it. Come on.
Nah, man, you enjoyed that shit. Stop lying. Everybody was in here like he really enjoys being in a Speedo. Like, Himes, you can put your clothes back on. Nah, that's cool. Motherfucker walked outside like he was fucking sunbathing. No.
Man, I
Speedo feels too much like a thong.
Looking like he was at the Amalfi Coast.
Yo, you guys saw Men in Black. You heard what Will Smith said about the suit. I make this look good. I make whatever I wear look good. So put the money where your mouth is. Come on.
I will literally dress up as like Taffel Shake and Bake from fucking Talladega Nights, or I'll do a dinosaur suit, or I'll do something I never thought I'd do, and I'll get a Tom Brady jersey, Patriots. I'm pretty sure I can find it. No, I'll get a Patriots jersey, and I'll let you pick which player.
A Drew Bledsoe Patriot jersey.
A fucking
just so you look like a real Patriots
fucking
fan.
Dan Connolly
so you look like
jersey.
a real Patriots
A Dan
fan.
Connolly jersey. He's the longest kickoff return for a lineman ever.
Welker jersey.
Wes Welker.
Ugh.
That's just the jersey of losing.
No.
Yep.
No. What's that dude who's on ESPN? Fuck.
Booger McFarland?
The backup linebacker.
Teddy Bruschi?
No, the other guy.
No. The
Matt
Damian
Chatham?
Woody.
No, the fucking Nico guy.
Rob Ninkovich? He was a
there you
defensive
go.
end.
You wear his
wow.
jersey.
The Saints jersey? He was on the Saints. Just want to point that out.
Oh.
It has to be like Rodney Harrison, somebody I hate.
Patrick Chung.
Oh, no, I got
That's
you.
fucked up.
Khalil Mack. You got to wear a Bears Khalil Mack jersey.
That actually hurts. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That went too far.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's polish
You
out
know
this
what?
bet off the air because we run out of time.
We could parlay that.
Oh, my bad, guys. I'm not trying to take your time.
It's all
Thanks
right.
for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
All right, man.
That's an
Have a
interesting
good
bet.
night. We'll finish this
All
up.
right, you
To
too,
be
guys.
continued.
Peace.
Peace.
All right. Peace.
Himes loves wearing Speedos. Like, we just need to, like, get that out there. He's clearly a Speedo guy. But, yeah, college football. So, UC Davis.
We're going back there.
I never even finished it, bro.
I thought we were just going to punt it.
Nah, I got to finish that shit. Because UC Davis beat Tulsa, bro.
Damn.
UC Davis beat Tulsa 19-17.
I was going to say Kareem Hunt's probably feeling bad, but he went to Toledo. Who's the last player from Tulsa?
I'm pretty sure he went to Kent State.
No, Kareem Hunt went to Toledo, didn't he?
It might have been Kent State.
Ohio.
I know, but Kent State's in Ohio too. I'm just trying to remember. Where did
Isn't Kent
Chester
State
Taylor
in
go?
Kentucky?
Because he broke Chester Taylor's record. So
Anyways, finish what you're doing. I'll look it up.
yeah. But yeah, good lord, fucking Himes.
Toledo, as I
Okay, yeah,
said.
Toledo, got you. First time you've been right. Congratulations. Yeah, so Boise State's losing to UCF in the fourth quarter, 28-24. Um, yeah, HBCU football. Big 12 is focused on expanding with Cincinnati, BYU, Houston, and UCF. Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders, and the Jacksonville State QB, who will be eligible to play in this fall. He signed a NIL deal with Beats headphones. Quinn Ewers, the high school junior and number one player in the country, who decided to um, reaffirm his status as a class of 2021 recruit. He signed a $1.4 million deal with the athlete autograph giant GTSM. He's an early enrollee at Ohio State, and he signed a $1.4 million deal with an athlete autograph signing company. Pete, I'm going to say it again. A high school junior signed a name, image, likeness deal in the state of Texas, where since he's going to college, he's now at Ohio, because Texas, they don't let high school kids benefit off NIL. But he name, image, likeness before he ever takes a snap, before he probably get redshirted this year, because CJ Stroud is the starter for Ohio State, so he's going to get redshirted or gray shirted possibly. You know, they can do that too. $1.4 million. If I would have told you this 10 years ago when we were high school seniors,
I wouldn't have believed it.
You would have cussed me out and said you're on drugs.
Yep.
You would have probably had me committed. And 10 years ago, shit, if anybody said that, we would have probably had him committed. But yeah, $1.4 million. Okay, Zeb Nolan, a former grad assistant for South Carolina, is going to be their starting QB this weekend. Now, he started at Iowa State, then went to North Dakota State, but ended up being Trey Lance's backup. And then he was literally the fucking graduate assistant QB coach for South Carolina. But then a bunch of guys got hurt, and then he beat out two other guys. So now a former grad assistant who had 1 year left of eligibility, Zeb Nolan is the starting quarterback for South Carolina. And I'm pretty sure Steve Spurrier Jr. is their head coach or some shit like that. I don't know. South Carolina's weird. It's just weird. It's a weird state. It's a weird, incestuous, racist state. But whatever. That's it for college football.
You sure?
That's definitely it. Unless I get the updates to this game score.
All right. I don't know what to say about this one, but I guess. Shaq's college teammate was Odell Beckham Sr., father of Browns receiver
Odell Beckham Jr.
Take your tangent.
Shaq said in an interview with Chris Long on Chris Long's podcast that Odell Beckham Sr. was his roommate, and football was actually his first love, and he got tough and handled the whole hack of Shaq stuff because he played football. And I'm like, Shaq, your 7'1" ass was out there playing football. He said, I would have been a tight end. I have great hands. I was like, hand-eye coordination, I've seen your free throw percentage. I don't know about that. But he definitely would have been a left tackle. Because he's just too big to play defensive tackle. Like, you can't play D tackle and be over fucking 6'8". Calais Campbell's
crazy, bro.
Barely doing it.
Putting
it on a Hall of Fame resume quietly.
I just can't imagine Shaq like in a
That's
fucking
7'1".
helmet, bro.
7 foot.
You have to get custom shit for him,
bro. Literally 7'1", just punching your defensive ends in the face.
All right,
Touchdowns.
Adam Pacman Jones, player who really made his name in the NFL for stuff that happened off the field, but was a solid player, starter,
solid person.
Adopted his former teammate Chris Henry, the late Chris Henry.
His kids.
So take your tangent on that.
funny how he had to say this on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and the media never talked about this. They only covered ESPN in particular, only covered him in a negative light. It's interesting how he adopted this man's children. Like, and nobody ever talks about that side of Adam Jones. Nobody ever says that about that man. That he adopted his dead teammates' kids. Like that's some beautiful shit. And it was never heard until he opened his mouth and said it to another former player. Which is why, like, I'm thankful when we have athletes and people come on the show, they feel open enough and comfortable enough to share things. Like when we had, we had that JUCO offensive lineman, former JUCO All-American, who used to play for the LA Wildcats. He went on and talked about everything he went through. I feel like that stuff like that, him being open enough and honest to say that is what a lot of people are missing in media. And like, that's what you should be not necessarily looking for and finding out, but that should be something you're considering. You never know what these athletes are going through once they go home. And you should be considerate of that. And the fact that he's got really paid, like they treated him like he murdered somebody. If we're being honest, they treated Pacman like he murdered somebody during his career.
Because he was picking up money at the strip club.
I mean, let's be honest.
Don't even say what you're going to say,
It was a lot of money.
Don't even say what you're going to say,
It was a lot of money. It was in Atlanta? Because if you did it in Vegas.
He did in Vegas.
Oh, that's okay. You can't do that in Atlanta, though.
You can't do that in Vegas.
I mean,
I can't believe it's already been 12 years since he passed. For those of you who don't remember.
Chris Henry was a beast out of West Virginia. He was going to be he was the third receiver with Chad Johnson and TJ Houshmandzadeh. Like, he was that key cog, and they were waiting for him to have to break out year. And he got into a fight with his girlfriend, and he fell off a truck and succumbed to his injuries. But he was turning his life around that season. I think he had like a 700 yards receiving in the season. Like, he was going to be the next man up for the Bengals, and it just never happened. It was really sad and unfortunate. And they said, like, that was one of the things that kind of broke that team a little bit.
All right, next thing. Shout out to Jerome Casey. Retires after 10 years and 5 Pro Bowls. Wasn't on a roster. Take your tangent. He
got injured while on the Broncos. He didn't want to leave Tennessee. He played defensive end and D tackle for the Titans. He was a 3rd-round pick, former USC product, and he actually played at Long Beach Poly when they were like really good. So kudos to him. Retires at the 10-year mark. Wish he would have been a Raider. I think he would have been perfect. It's just an inside pass rusher. After the Titans cut him, and I think the Raiders should have jumped on that because he's an interior presence pusher. But he tore his bicep with the Broncos, and then they kind of treated him like trash, and that's why he came out and said it publicly. And he just was never a good fit. He didn't want to go there, didn't want to get traded there. But that's how it works as a business. But I'm glad that he retired on top. And one of the Trojans that really made a long-term career for himself. Because I didn't see him doing that. Like, but when he finally got there
was a good like
4 years,
3 to 4 years where he was unblockable, where he was like
Aaron Donald,
and then he was the next guy. He was the next guy. Him and Fletcher Cox and like Gerald McCoy.
Yeah,
were like all kind of neck and neck for the next guy.
And then the Titans switched up their defense, and he still was a Pro Bowler. That's the
I mean, I thought he was going to have a great year in Denver, but that whole last season kind of fell off the rails as soon as Vaughn got hurt in the preseason.
And you tear your bicep 8, 9, 10 years in the league. It's different than when you tear your bicep when you're 1, 2, or 3 years in the league. So there's that.
Plus, man, with the I don't know what they have, how you can call the issues in Denver, but I will say I don't know if they're ever going to get a championship until they start learning how to treat their quarterbacks. with like an ounce of patience and respect.
Exactly, because I would have started Drew Lock.
All right. Well, they did the same thing to fucking Lynch.
Paxton Lynch should have never been drafted that high. He was a bust everywhere else. He should have went back to Memphis for his senior year, but whatever. Just because you can come out in the draft doesn't mean you should.
Sometimes when you're winning, you're losing.
Shout out to Jevin Sneed. He actually listened to Topic Shay when he said Jevin Sneed was going to be a first-round pick when he transferred from Texas to Ole Miss. I was like, really, dude? You believe that?
All right. Touchdown or turnover, national championship forward and former Baylor Bear, Mark Vitale, investigating their Jags.
Oh, wait, sorry. I had to accidentally delete some. So pretty much national champion forward and former Baylor Bear Mark Vitale makes the Seahawks practice squad. He's 6'5", 250. Hasn't played football since middle school. Touchdown or turnover.
And you said he plays edge?
He's going to play tight end.
Oh, tight end. Well, I think if there's any position that you can do that, it's probably tight end. And it's probably on that team. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's the next one? The next one's messed up too.
Michael Irvin and Tim Tebow are going to debate Stephen A. Smith on Friday.
All right.
All these Fridays.
I'm
How
going
the
to
fuck
say
Stephen A. Smith going to call in on his day off to talk to Max Kellerman on Max Kellerman's last day when you're the reason he's leaving? Okay. Sorry, I just had to.
Damn.
That was some petty coworker shit. You going to call me from.
What did he say? I didn't even see it.
He pretty much like giving us kudos and the send off. But it's like, bro, they're making the show about you now. And it's my last day here. And you don't even show up on my last day?
Listen, man.
The fuck?
I'm going to stand up for this shit, man.
I don't break the mic stand because, you know.
I'm just going to say this lightly. Stop treating fucking Max Kellerman like he's some fucking bum, bro. Like, that's the most fucking disrespectful ass shit to me. Like, dude, Max Kellerman probably got a more fire playlist than Stephen A. Smith. Let's put it to
and a better hairline, and he treats black people better.
I was reading this think tank fucking piece about the changes that are going on ESPN, and basically the wrinkle effects from Stephen A. is essentially moving Kellerman to the national morning radio show with Keyshawn, which I think is actually good because I think Max and Keyshawn will actually be great together because Max is the quote unquote journalist, expert, whatever you want to call him, and Keyshawn is just tell it how it is. And I think that's kind of what they had with Marcellus and Max when that was really hitting out here in these streets. So I think they're going to try to capture some of that. The thing that kind of fucks it up is Jay Williams. I don't know why ESPN pushes Jay Williams so hard. No disrespect, but
I'm just saying
respectfully,
they pushed him harder than when he fell off that bike.
Ouch.
I mean, you came out and lied and ruined your NBA credibility after what you said. So we can take shots now because that was some bullshit.
But yeah, the article I was reading, it went through all the changes, and then there were some other changes that happened on radio because, you know, essentially Stephen A. is getting his own morning TV show. It's going to be him debating Tebow and what's his face, and
Michael
then
Irvin. How you gonna remember
Irvin,
Tim Tebow and
sorry.
say what's his face?
And then the
Irvin?
rest of the week is just going to be him versus everyone, which he already has a show, Stephen A. versus everyone. And then Max is getting a show, which might bump out highly questionable or Jalen and Jacoby. So basically, Stephen A. is the king of ESPN. And
is he really though?
the thing that that article was saying was that like, oh, Max Kellerman never really took off at first take. Like Stephen A. really never liked it, just because Max Kellerman, he has like the whole, I'm the smartest guy in the room. Like I can actually talk about stuff like from both perspectives and like really break things down. And that just never did well on ESPN. Like, so you're telling me because the guy was smart and because he didn't just say blasphemous, inflammatory ass shit every day.
Except the Andre Iguodala quote. Other than that, he had a point, but that was just the wrong time to say that.
But that's the thing, though, too, is like what that show, they took a lot of the shit that he said out of context to try to make him, to try to put him into that frame because
they're trying to make him a smarter, respectable Skip Bayless.
Yes, which he is, but they tried to make him into Skip Bayless by taking the back end shit of what he said and just being like, oh yeah, this is what Max said. But it's like, well, you missed the fucking 3 minutes when he was like, oh, breaking down the other side of it. And I just don't like that because, you know, obviously I fucking have fucked with Max Kellerman since Around the Horn day one. Fucking 2-year-old. Second grader watching Around the Horn, bro. That was me. And then I followed him to I Am Max.
Salute to Cold Pizza.
And then fucking when he was on Max and Marcellus, like that was fucking I love that show. That show was awesome. Like that was a radio show.
Stephen A. Smith hairline was respectable back then.
So the point I'm trying to say is, and we're not even talking about his boxing shit. Like, dude, just stop fucking sleeping on Max Kellerman.
Legendary boxing take. And he was always fair.
That's why reporters actually talk to. That's why boxers actually talk to him because he actually knew the sport.
Shout out to Bill Lampley too.
And he wasn't always trying to fucking catch people and gotcha moments.
And you can't really afford to do that with boxers because you will get punched in the face one day.
Yeah,
somebody will punch you in the face.
So yeah, man, just PSA, respect Max Kellerman, and if you want Skip Bayless, you should have just fucking paid Skip Bayless and avoided this whole mess. Because then Max and Marcellus would have never left LA Radio, and then LA Radio wouldn't be the shit show that it is today. Because they're still trying to figure out the drive time spot since he left. All right, I'm sitting down, getting off my pedestal.
I got a question.
Go for it.
Do you think that babies think the word baby is a slur?
Hey, yo, baby.
What if they really like hate that shit and they try to tell us, but then as you get older, like it doesn't even matter because you're not a baby anymore, so it doesn't matter. Like it only matters in that time period context. So like babies really be like saying in baby, don't fucking call me a baby. I just look at my nephew because like he'll be saying stuff or trying to say stuff, and I'm like, I wonder if you really think baby is a slur. We'll never know. Anyway, next one.
Urban Meyer admits part of his decision for cutting players in training camp is investigating. I don't know what you're trying to say.
I don't know why I cut out like that. So pretty much Urban Meyer first, this is a 3-parter. So first, Urban Meyer admitted that part of his decision for cutting players was their vaccination status, in so many words, what he said. Then the NFLPA is like, we're investigating that shit because you can't do that. And then the Jaguars came out with obviously, you know, some PR because it's stupid as fuck to admit that to the public that you would say something like that because, you know, FERPA rights and all types of the rights and just all types of lawsuits you can be open to. We did not, pretty much the statement was like, we didn't cut anybody on the basis of whether they're vaccinated or not. That's like not something we do here. So Urban Meyer keeps saying and doing dumb shit to put himself in deeper water. And I told all y'all, I'm talking to the dumbasses who really thought this shit was going to work in Jacksonville. Because when it doesn't work, I'm going to tell you how much of a failure Urban Meyer was as an NFL head coach because he's never led a group of men because he couldn't lead a group of fucking high school kids and college kids because they were all fucking up and making bad decisions and he enabled all of that. So you really think he's going to be able to lead a bunch of grown men when you couldn't really trust them with your kids? But okay, sure.
I think
guess what? When fucking Trevor Lawrence, God forbid it, knock on some kind of wood. If he ends up with like a fucking a broken collarbone because Urban Meyer doesn't know how to put together a proper offensive line or necessarily a scheme that actually helps out his quarterback who can actually throw the football and is faster than Tim Tebow and can actually, be a focal point in the franchise. When he ends up fucking up Trevor Lawrence and everybody's like, well, damn, the Jaguars are looking for another head coach. Who would be a great fit? Eric Bieniemy, obviously, because he's QB friendly, because we all know Urban Meyer it won't work. Travis Etienne is already out for the year. So, I mean, all I'm saying is when this whole Urban Meyer fiasco blows up in everybody's faces, Kenneth Frank James Barry fucking told you so before it even happened. Told you so when he left Ohio State for personal reasons. But okay.
I think the thing to me that I thought would give it a chance to work was the idea that was being sold, that often gets sold when coaches go off to their, what would you call it? Fucking what's that thing called? Sabbaticals. When they fire or quit and they take a year off and they're supposedly go through this transformative process of like, oh, I'm now a different coach. I'm refreshed and I've been studying the game and working my network and doing what I need to do to become a better coach. And it's like, yeah, definitely you should always be trying to learn and grow. But also, like, you also just have to stick with who you are and do what you are. And I think in this case, as you mentioned, it's like Urban Meyer's returning to what he knows. And that's a dude who just finds a way to slip through the cracks and say things to piss people off. And ultimately, I felt bad for Trevor Lawrence because, again, just showing like it's not just about getting drafted, it's about developing. And it's not just about the pick you go to, but the situation you land in. And unfortunately, if Urban Meyer can't get this ship right, then they're not just going to be looking for a new head coach. They're going to be looking for a new quarterback and a new everything again. And it just seems like Jacksonville is always in that constant rebuilding phase for a wild card game. And yeah, man, shout out to Gardner Minshew. I think
got traded to the Eagles.
I know, so
for a 5th round pick, I think.
I like that move for him because if the Hurts thing doesn't work out right away, that's a perfect switch up. The other thing I forgot to say about the earlier point is, why the fuck does like ESPN and Michael Irvin have like the most toxic relationship ever? Like, how has Michael Irvin literally been on every single network? He has the best agent of all time, bro.
I ain't saying nothing. Miami Hurricanes.
You got the coca. He got
Miami
the coca
Hurricanes
blood.
are out here, bro.
He got the coca.
Warren Sapp laying low, doing whatever you want to do, but like, yeah.
Just that network, just those people behind the scenes, just keep putting him on.
And Christ, apparently.
So how long until he fucks up again? What's the over/under of Michael Irvin?
I don't know, man. People just not gonna give up on Michael Irvin.
We gonna give him a year?
All I know is if he comes for Steve Smith Sr. again, you better cool it.
Does he last a year on first take without getting suspended for saying something stupid? Or
I think him and Tebow are gonna get into it about what kind of player Tebow was. I feel like a lot of cats don't fuck with Tebow and they just won't publicly say it because like they're afraid of the blowback. But he was trash. It's cool you believe in God, but you sucked. It's cool you weren't even the realest dude on those Florida teams. Cam Newton said it. Percy Harvin was a freshman taking fly sweeps 80 fucking yards against LSU and not practicing all week, but taking it to the house. Percy Harvin, Hernandez, the Pouncey twins. Like, I can name all the people around Tebow that you could have took Matt Leinart and put him on those teams. You could have took a lot of the QBs from a lot of the schools, put them in that offense with all that NFL talent, and they would have still won a national title.
All right. So
Debo got all the good juju from those Florida teams.
So real quick, we're gonna go through some transactions that happened this week and just quickly let me know if it's a touchdown or a turnover.
Yeah.
Malcolm Butler says he might retire. Touchdown or turnover.
Honestly, in his case,
It's
it's a touchdown.
Just right off, yeah.
Like, if you're thinking about it, you probably already want to do it.
Facts.
And yeah.
Takk McKinley makes the Browns.
Yay! Touchdown.
For him or for the Browns or both?
For him and the Browns. Richmond, because when Jadeveon Clowney fucks up and doesn't get 10 sacks again, Takk McKinley's going to have a rebound year with like 5 sacks in a semi what's it called, limited rusher role, and ended up signing a fat deal with the Raiders.
I'm not down for that. Carolina Panthers traded Denzel Perriman to the Raiders. This happened a couple weeks ago, but it's now officially official. So touchdown or turnover, Perriman landing with Vegas and his former defensive coordinator at the Chargers.
I'm sighing harder than when I just looked at Drake's list.
Billboard?
No, his
we might be on CLB, honestly.
Yeah, we're probably on CLB. Touchdowns and Tanders is on CLB.
We got an intro.
Bro, we got mad quotables.
We got a skit.
We got mad shit. Exactly. We got mad quotables from all our fucking episodes. Like, our shit, we're coming up on 5 years. Our shit's kind of legendary. We've had a pretty great fucking run currently to date, and we haven't really got it started yet. But anyway, yeah, I was just kind of, Perriman's been injury prone. He was kind of slow coming out of college on the 4.68 side, not really a coverage guy, kind of a thumper, but just inconsistent. And he's what the Raiders have had at linebacker, and it has not worked out with any of those type of players or his skill set. So he might be a good special teamer, but he's not going to play much on this defense. And you got Diablo playing linebacker, Tanner Muse. Actually looks like he might be something special. Like,
stop it, bro.
Littleton, I'm trying to have hope for Tanner.
I'm going to say it's a turnover. I'm going to say it's a turnover, much like I said when they signed Gerald McCoy, and they also signed KJ Wright today.
He's still there.
But, like, you don't go out and sign those kind of veteran guys if you like what you have at the position. And the fact of the matter is the Raiders have 2 free agents that they paid a lot of money for, Nick Cook, Kowalski, and Littleton.
Which I told y'all about Littleton.
Which it seems like now they're both going to be high-quality backups. And then you got the mid-round draft picks.
Nick took a pay cut
that they've invested over the last 2 to 3 years. Morrow, Muse.
Muse didn't even play last year.
Diablo, and I think there's one more. White.
Yeah, the UNLV linebacker who runs a 4.4.
Okay, and now you add in 2 veterans.
Nick Morrow.
I already said it. And now you add in 2 veterans, KJ Wright and Denzel Perriman. So what exactly role are they going to fill? Just being
role players?
Like
in
the scheme moments? Guys because they know Gus Bradley?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is that worth 2 roster spots? Yeah. I don't know, but you gave one to Nathan Peterman, so I guess we're just giving away roster spots.
Nathan Peterman must have naked pictures.
Give me a gunshot.
Nathan Peterman must have like the devil's soul in a fucking jar somewhere. How is he still getting worse?
I just don't know how you have in 2021 where teams barely have a fullback and only so many teams run 2 tight end sets.
You got 3 QBs.
You have 8 linebackers on your roster.
And 3 QBs. And both of your backups have played.
And
Peterman has played. Mariota has played.
If anything, I would have liked to see that veteran leadership kept in the secondary with Carl Joseph or Rasul Douglas. Because
Rasul Douglas just gets mixed in a blender every week.
That's true. But the reason why I say that is you haven't invested money at the position like that. You've invested draft picks, but you haven't put a lot of money into there except for LaMarcus Joyner, which he's gone. But really? You didn't have a Corey Littleton and a Nick Kowalski in the secondary. You just have a bunch of young guys and Casey Hayward. So
Casey
how
Hayward's
many scheme guys
the
do
only
we
one
need?
I trust. Casey Hayward's the only one I trust. And honestly,
Mullen's
you should have
good.
had
I
him
like Mullen.
3 years ago.
I like
You
Mullen.
should have had him before
That's
he
what
went
I'm
to the
saying.
Chargers.
That's the point that I'm making. If we would have had Hayward,
You want to spend big money.
McCoy, Perryman, and KJ Wright 4 years ago, with Khalil Mack, we would have had a fucking team.
And
but
had
now
you drafted
it's,
Yannick when he first came out of college,
it's a little too late.
Yeah, exactly.
All
That's
right.
a JoJo
We spent
song,
too long
by the
on
way.
that one.
That's a JoJo.
Josh Rosen was cut again. He's now signed by the Falcons to be a backup QB. Touchdown or turnover?
That's a touchdown because Felipe Franks ain't ready yet, and I think their other QB got hurt.
All right.
That's actually a perfect fit for him.
And
shout out to Juwan Green. We got to get him on the show too. He was at the NFLPA game killing cats. He scored. Josh Rosen threw him a touchdown that last preseason game. So to Juwan Green, Albany University.
all right. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the Rams. You want to go first?
Sure. I really hate, and Serve kind of killed me all about this on Facebook earlier today. She called me old. And Kizzy, shout out to Kizzy, he said, you're like 20, you're like 30 and up. I was like, first off, I'm 29. I'm not fucking 30. That hurt my feelings a little bit. But we love you, Kizzy. We love you, X Squad. I hate when people call my phone and don't leave a fucking voicemail. Who in the entirety of a fuck on God's green plane of existence do you think you are, especially if your number ain't saved on my phone, you call me, don't leave a voicemail, and think I'm gonna call you back, bitch? I was holding my nephew today, watching him laugh and playing with his hair and having a grand old time, chilling with my nephew and running errands and shit. You don't call my phone, not leave a voicemail, and then call back a second time, I'm not picking up. And I definitely give you that petty ass Pisces energy. I'm gonna watch the phone ring and laugh at it while it's ringing, and then shoot you a text saying, "Who is this again?" But I'm not calling you back. If you call my phone and I don't pick it up the first time, I'm away or whatever, you better leave a fucking voicemail. Like, I'm sorry, but my mom raised me like that. Like, leave a voicemail. If you call somebody's phone, you be respectful and you leave a goddamn voicemail. I don't care if I sound like old man Uncle Kenny fucking sitting on a fucking a porch somewhere, shaking my canes for kids to get off my lawn, cleaning a shotgun. If you call my phone, you leave a voicemail. Because sometimes I don't like talking to people because I run out of social minutes, okay? Shit, it happens. But if you call my phone, you leave a voicemail. And also, I feel like Drake helped leak Kanye's album. Kanye's album, honestly, was like probably his encapsulation of like everything he's been through from like his first album to now. Like, this album explains why Yeezus was trash, if that makes sense. This album explains everything from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy till right now. That's what I feel like this album is. In Jail 2.
I'm gonna need people to stop taking my take, but okay.
I said that shit before you.
No, you did not.
I definitely said it.
Did not.
I literally texted you this week in the group chat, bitch. So what are you talking about? You just had this research paper dissertation for Kanye and his whole album. You've been had that in the tuck forever. So I'm gonna just step out the way and let you handle that. And by the way, if you didn't like 808s with Heartbreak when it came out, your ass is fraud.
Motherfuckers,
stop acting like you like 808s and Heartbreak when it first came out.
Love to point out when I'm wrong, but they love to take my takes when they're right. It's all good though.
No, you know how that feels, right?
It's
you know how that feels, right?
It's all right.
I gotta do it.
I don't know how your ashy ass arms feel though.
That's fucked up. It's cold in here. That's why I told my girl to have me my back.
Show.
I know you did. Piece of shit.
Free the cocoa butter.
Hey, what if I'm gonna just put lotion on my arms right now. Fuck you. My mom's listening to you, Jared.
All right. Well, your mom's not gonna tell you the same thing when you get home. Dang, Kenny, your arms really was ashy. Why your arms so ashy? You got cocoa butter in your bag. You literally have cocoa butter in your bag and your arms are that ashy.
I'm mad that you know that.
You always have cocoa butter in your bag.
That's true, and I went and re-upped and got some more today. Fuck you, man.
All right, man. Well, to close out the show, I don't have a whole lot. Just, man, I got a chance to go up today to Birmingham to watch my brother play, Jason play, JV game, and it was just crazy being at my old stomping grounds where I coached for a year and seeing how much things really changed in 5 years. Like the field is all brand new. They got a nice scoreboard. And I think, a lot of teams will look at that and just be like, well, yeah, of course. Like they're a powerhouse in the Valley. They're a big ass school. They've won, over decades. And it's like, yeah, but 5 years ago, they didn't have any resources either. So it's like, it can happen. A program can be turned around and built up. It just takes the right combination of, timing, luck, skill, and execution. And to put it lightly, we all put on a little bit of weight too. So I'm glad I'm not the only one. But yeah, man, shout out to Good News Radio. Shout out to Good News Sports. Shout out to Alex Hines from Courtside and Don't At Me. Shout out to Chrissy Freud from SI and the Draft Network. SI? No, she's still at SI for the Mississippi State. And also, shout out to the X Squad affiliates, FPC Radio, your favorite podcast at touchdownsandtangents.com. You can also find all of our content there. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for fucking with us. It's going to be another great season, so keep tuning in.
Sorry for swearing, but, if I came to the studio today with ashy arms, does it look like I wasn't ready for some fuck shit? We love y'all. Peace.
And CLB is coming out, so
we're on CLB. Did you see that fucking cartoonish playlist? Oh yeah, by the way, StreamYard.
Oh shit. We got no viewers.